Well, we're back in Berwick, and as you can see behind me, a lot has happened since we were here last. We now have a frame, and it is massive. Not only is it big in terms of area, it's also quite tall, because we don't normally install a scaffold around a single-storey home, but here we actually have 2 levels of scaffold. So it's that tall, it needs 2 levels of scaffold to wrap around it. So we'll go and have a closer look at that inside, and we'll also take a bit of a look into where the cost comes into building a home such as this. Like, we often get asked, you know, how much per square, or how much does it cost to build this? And we always say it's based on ingredients, what goes into a home. So at this stage, the skeleton of the home, we can have a look at some of the materials that are going into it and getting a bit of an idea as to, you know, where the actual price comes from on a home like this. So let's go and explore this magnificent home behind me. So let's start off up here at the main dormer, which is one of the focal points that you see from down there. Now, it may have looked a little bit smaller from down there, but I'm standing right next to it now, and you can see how big this really is. This has all been done by hand. All these rafters have been hand cut. We've covered the rafters with solid framing timber to create that curved shape, which eventually will have its roof wrapped over it. So this particular one sits over the entry, and I'm standing about 4.5 metres up from the ground now, and the top of this is about 3 metres above my feet. So from there to the ground, around about 7 metres. So yeah, quite big. Let's go look at it from down the bottom. All right, I'm standing in what will be the entry to the home. It's quite tall. I feel like I'm in the land of the giants. I'm almost 6 foot tall, and I stand back here and you can see the top of this wall at just over 4 metres in height, which is just quite huge. And then above me here, I can see the underside of the dormer with these curved rafters, which we've made to give you that curved roof that you see on the dormers. So at the moment, we're trying to work a way of integrating that dormer into this entry space. So I'm really looking forward to what we come up with as a finished product from here. But if you think this is actually tall, it actually gets even taller when you walk into this main living area here. The ceiling here is 6.5 metres up. So it's more than double what you would have in a domestic home. So in terms of that feeling of grandness when you walk in, you're going to get it as soon as you walk in here and you look up, and then you're going to get it again when you walk through here and look up into this ceiling. And then when you stop looking above and finally tilt your head down, you'll be able to see through to the pool, which is now being poured, and the tennis court beyond that. But before we go looking through this area a bit more, we might wander over to the master bedroom, because I want to show you some of the features that we're working on in there. I'm standing in what will be the master bedroom of this home, and it is jaw-dropping. You've got a view of the pool, we've got a view of the tennis court, we've got a view of the future pool house. We've got a vaulted ceiling up here, so again we've got volume in here, and to create that we've got these steel portals working their way across the room to give us that vaulted ceiling. So this will have a high ceiling in the middle, and then it'll be dropped down around the sides. We've got a fireplace here off to my left, and then coming through here is the ensuite. The bathtub is going to be sitting here, which will be, you know, front and center. We've got 3 skylights going above it, which is why you can see these little blue SLs marked on the ground here. And then over here is this massive shower. I've never seen a shower this big in a home before. Like, a normal shower width is about here. This one is another 50% wider. So it's huge, like the rest of this house. And then just behind me here is the walk-in robe. You could run laps in. Like, I'm going to stand back here. It's bigger than like most clothes shops you walk to on Chapel Street. So imagine this full of clothes and joinery. Very, very nice. So let's go and take a look at the main living room again, but this time from a different angle. So just follow me through. I'm going to climb up here to the ceiling and I'll meet you up there. I'm a bit puffed because I've just climbed 2 ladders to get up to here. So I'm now 6.5 meters above the floor below me. So this room is absolutely massive in terms of its physical footprint, height. It's got a huge amount of volume. It's going to be amazing when you walk in here when it's completed. It'll just blow your mind. Well, I'm going to work my way down to the bedroom wing because a house of this size obviously has to have lots of bedrooms, and it has a wing full of bedrooms. So I'm going to work my way down. I'll meet you at the bottom and I'll take you through the bedroom wing. That's a long way down. Much easier coming down than going up. So let's go through this area here, which will eventually be the kitchen, dining, and then looking onto this amazing room and the alfresco. We've got glimpses of the pool and the tennis court behind me, and then we'll go off here to the bedroom wing, which is just through this hallway. So this is the bedroom wing. We've got a garage here behind me, but that's just not the only garage this home has. It actually has another garage on the other side of the house. So I guess you decide on which side of the house you want to park your car, whether it's this bedroom, that bedroom, or maybe just out the front. But here we've got 5 more bedrooms, each with an ensuite. 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of them is huge, bigger than most master bedrooms in most of the homes. And then off into here we've got another room which overlooks the pool. It's going to have an amazing view. And if we look up at the ceiling here, we can see these trusses which have the scissor and the coffered ceiling happening, which again just gives this room a huge amount of volume. So everything you walk into, I just feel like I'm a little child walking around one of the frames. It's just like constantly looking up. And there's that massive pool behind me, which I may jump into at the end because that looks so inviting even now and it's not even finished. All right, so I'm sure you all agree this house is amazing. But there's one question I'm sure you're asking yourself: how much does this cost to build? Well, I'm not actually going to tell you how much this home costs to build, but we will look at where the price comes from and how it's partly derived. Okay, I'm standing in what will eventually be the theatre room of the home, and it's probably a great place to show you and talk about price. Now, we often get asked, how much does it cost to build per square? How much, is this? How much is that? And we're always saying, it's to do with the ingredients of the home. Everything is derived from the amount of materials that go in, the labour that goes with it, and then you have obviously the builder's margin, and then you have the price. So let's look at this wall here. So the ceiling height here is 4.2 metres, so it's not quite double a normal home, which is 2.7. And as you can see, there's a lot of timber here. And at each point, you can see there's 2 pieces of timber, where normally on a normal 2.7 metre ceiling, there'd be 1 piece. So straight away, we've doubled the amount of timber that has gone into this wall. And if you take a closer look at the actual timber we're using, these are all engineered LVL beams, and they're about 2 to 3 times the price of a normal pine stud that you would typically use in a home. So not only do you have double the amount of material, you have over double, almost triple the cost of the material, plus you have the physical weight of it. So this wall, you can imagine when it was built on the floor, how heavy it would be to physically lift it up. So the amount of productivity you get from each day is less. So paying for more material, the material is more expensive, you're paying for more labour. So you can quickly see where the price starts to completely jump. So even though this room is a certain size, that wall would be 6 times the price of a normal wall in a normal house with just the 2.7 metre ceiling. So the premium you're paying for that extra height is quite substantial. And if we just take a look behind you here, this is the electrical feed coming into the home. Now, most homes just have 1 pipe coming in, and not quite as large as this. A house of this size, with all the things that you see here, obviously uses a lot of energy and power. There's going to be a lot of machines keeping this house cool, keeping the pool clean. We've still got a pool house to build off in the back corner, and it needs a lot of power. So there's so much power coming into this house that the electricity company is actually going to have to upgrade the power coming into the street. And that's all coming back to the cost of this build. So, you know, building a big home and a home of this grandeur comes with a cost, and all that starts to add up when you look at these sort of things. So building a home like this is not for the faint-hearted, but you get what you pay for. And you, as you can see in the wall and in the electrical coming in here behind me, there is a lot of ingredients in this home, and that's partly where the price comes from. Now that will continue on through the rest of the project. The more ingredients that come in, the more expensive it will cost to build. So working off a per square is impossible. It's all to do with the ingredients. So that's the frame here in Berwick. As you can see, it's massive. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've learned something. We'll come back here in a couple of months just to check on the progress. We should have the roof and the windows starting to go in by then. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel or keep an eye on our website. We'll keep posting the episodes as we get them filmed. So yeah, I look forward to showing you the next part when we come back here in a couple of months.